Yo guys, how's it going? Cobra1 386 here, back for another Lego Star Wars set review. Now I know it's been a while since I last did a review video, but that's because I've been so busy at work that I just haven't had the time to do it, on top of other things I've had to do at home as well. But I've got a lot more time now, so I should be able to do more reviews for you guys. We're starting off, just want to let you know that this week, with the release of Star Wars Battlefront 2, I'll be posting, I'm going to try and post a Star Wars Battlefront 2 video every day this week, and every other day I'm going to post a Star Wars set review for this coming week. And now, getting on with the set itself, it is set 75167, the Bounty Hunter Speeder Bike Battle Pack, and this includes Bossk, Dengar, Forearm and IG-88. It is a price point of £11.99 or $15, and it has 122 pieces. Now this set, for a lot of people, was a very unexpected release from Lego, because it doesn't tie into the standard theme of battle packs, because it has 4 main characters in the set, or at least more so than most battle packs too, because normally they come with like a rebels or stormtroopers or clones, just generic army builders. But this is a specific character set, which makes this great value, because all 4 figures in this were either previously in more expensive sets, or this is their first time appearance. And with that, let's get into the individual figures. So starting off with Bossk. This figure is great for a lot of people because it was previously in the UCS Star Destroyer, which is a much more expensive set than this one here. So this is a great new way to get hold of this figure. Now with the figure itself, I love the head mould on this figure. And it's now in an olive green. And I love the way they've done the eyes. They really pop out. He looks just like he does in the film and in the games that we've seen him in, like Battlefront. The detailing on his legs and torso is amazing. The way they've blended all the pipes and everything all together looks great. Personally, it doesn't show up as well on the camera, but I would personally prefer the figure to be a darker shade of yellow, because it's a very pale colour. As I said, it looks darker on the camera than it actually is, but personally I think it's slightly too pale, but not by much. And one of my favourite things about this figure is the fact that they've actually included the feet print on him, which I think adds to the whole feel of Bossk himself. And then the printing on the front is continued onto the back with the pipes and his vest. Not as much detailing, but it continues on his theme and is accurate to what we see. Before we go any further, I'd just like to point out that all the figures in this set, as with most LEGO Star Wars sets lately, all come with the stud shooters. So in looking at the figures, I'm going to remove them so they're out the way. Personally, I would prefer to have the old style Lego guns, but they don't put them in, even if they just put them in as well as the stud shooters, because I understand why they put the stud shooters in. I just would prefer to have the old style guns as well, so I'm not going to put them with the figures. Next up we have Dengar. This is possibly my favourite figure out of the battle pack. That's personally because I love playing as Dengar in Star Wars Battlefront. He's one of my favourite heroes to play as. Now the only things I have against this figure is 2 things. Mainly is I think he's too clean. He should be dirtier, maybe a bit more scruffy looking. The white's just too clean for Dengar. He's a more scruffy, sort of worn looking character in himself. And then turning him round, my second thing I have against the figure is his backpack. Personally, I think it doesn't quite work as Dengar's backpack. Personally, I'd use one of the classic Lego backpacks like we used to get on the back of the speeder bikes. This one actually has a brown one on the back, but I'm going to put a white one on the back to show you. I just think one of these backpacks would have matched the character a bit better than the one we had. I mean, the one we have works fine as it does. I just think one of these would look better. And here he is with the brown version of that backpack. Anyway, backpacks aside, this is a great looking figure. As I said before, he could be a bit dirtier, but the face print I think looks great. The way they've included the bandages onto the head, I love. His armour piece, the way they've added the rust patches on and still kept all the outlinings of like his panels and stuff on his chest, I think looks great. I would have preferred a bit of leg printing, but these legs work fine as they are, and honestly I don't see what they could have done for his legs. I mean, just like a bit of panel outlining would have been nice. And then on his back, there's definitely less detailing here, but I think that is mainly because it would normally have the backpack on covering it up. Next up here we have Forearm. This figure is brand new for this set. We've never had him in LEGO before, which is great for a lot of figure collectors because it's a cheap way to get him. Honestly, I was expecting if we did ever get one for him to come in like a remake of the Star Destroyer or something along those lines. But to get him in a set this cheap is really unexpected and great for a lot of people. I really love the way they've done the copper detailing on the dark silver. It really well represents Forearm's look. And I just wanted to angle him slightly to get a better look because the eyes on Forearm are one of my favourite parts of the figure altogether. They capture the look that he has of the bug-eyed helmet in the film dead on. And then that copper detailing is continued onto the back. And with Forearm being a brand new figure, his headpiece was made especially for the character itself, and it looks brilliant. And next up here we have IG-88. And like Bossk previously, the only way to get hold of this figure was in the UCS Star Destroyer set, outside of obviously buying him individually on eBay, which cost about the same amount as this set does, as he was only available in the expensive set. And from what I can tell, the figure is largely unchanged from his previous version, with the painted headpiece on top of the standard grey droid body. And one thing I love about this figure is they actually included one of the old style blasters with him, which you clip onto his back. It just would have been nice if they'd done the same with the other four. Next up we have the speeder bike itself. This is a really cool looking vehicle, and from what I can understand, it is from the LEGO Freemakers TV series. As if I remember rightly, I've never watched it, but I think I remember seeing it briefly in the trailer for season 2, I think it was. And with the vehicle itself, you can see it has lots of guns, especially up the back here. And it does have these stud shooters here integrated into the back, which fire as most stud shooters do. And I don't have anything against stud shooters. I just like to have an alternative with the figures, but if they're integrated well on a vehicle like these ones here are, I have no problem with them at all. And then you can see on the sides here they've also added these twin guns on the edge to add to the sort of realistic look where the guns would be on the speeder itself. And then near the front of the vehicle here we have these, they're either ion blasters or engine intakes. Either or. Personally, I like to think that they are engine intakes because it just makes more sense with the single thrust output on the back of the bike here. And you can see, as I said earlier with the Dengar figure, you do have this backpack here, which if you wanted you could swap out with the one on Dengar. One of my favourite bits about the speeder itself is actually the colour, the blue colour that's dotted about on here. I just wish they'd put more of the blue pieces on the bike itself, but I can understand why they didn't. With it being a smaller set, they weren't going to invest a lot of money into remoulding pieces in a colour specifically for it. And honestly, looking at the set itself, they could have gone with virtually anything to put with it, because people will buy this set for the figures a lot more than they will for the build with it. but to have a build like this that's nice and usable with the figures is an added bonus. Taking a quick look at the box here, you can see we've got the age rating, the set number, the set name, the Disney logo, the long Star Wars thing across the top with the Death Trooper, and then the main box art. On the top here we have the 1:1 scale image of Forearm, the new exclusive figure for this set. Then on the back we have a secondary artwork showing the figures with the vehicle, and a small display up here demonstrating the stud shooters. And moving on to the instruction booklet, here we have the same artwork on the front of the instruction booklet as the box. Flicking to the back, we've got the standard piece count in the back here, an advert for the Freemakers Adventures, a sheet showcasing all the figures of this line, another page showing all the sets in this line, and as you can see the instructions are 26 pages. And so there we have it, set 75167, the Bounty Hunter Speeder Bike Battle Pack. Overall I'd say it's a great set, it's awesome value for the figures. I'd definitely recommend picking it up, especially if you don't have any of these figures already, and even if you have one or two of these figures, it's great for picking up the ones you don't have. I'd say honestly the only thing I have against the set itself is the stud shooters. And if you have the Boba Fett figure as well, you can recreate that iconic scene from Empire Strikes Back where Darth Vader orders all the bounty hunters to go out and bring back Han Solo, Luke, Leia and the Millennium Falcon. That's everything. Thank you for watching. This has been Cobra 1386 and I will see you in the next LEGO review.